got a general manager and team president coming in that have said they have free reign. Now we'll see if it actually happens. Ted Leonsis loves to say, I had this plan, we didn't execute the plan right. No, you didn't. You want to fight for the 8 seed the whole time. Yeah. And now suddenly they want to trade Bradley Beal, who, by the way, has a no-trade clause. Now that he got his max deal and did exactly what everybody knew what he was going to do, was, hey, let me go ahead and take as much money as I can, maximize all my contracts, and then, you're thinking about rebuilding? Sure, let's talk. It's not like he's requested a trade, but they said they will talk to him and they'd be open to moving. Well, I talked to somebody today. He wants to go to Miami. So the Heat have to figure this out. There's a proposed trade out there. Somebody from ESPN put out Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, a 2028 protected top 10 pick going to the Wizards for Bradley Beal to the Heat. I think that's actually a decent trade because Beal's stock is so low right now. He's older, he keeps getting hurt, and he's making way too much money. So I would see him getting moved, but I don't think there's going to be very many teams. Philadelphia was a rumor for a while. Miami's the number one place he wants to go. The Nets are another one rumored. The Nets they're not even on this? Okay, these are whatever this book is, again, it's not BetMGM. They're completely wrong because the Nets aren't even mentioned here. The Nets at least have some assets to give them.
See, I do think he starts the season, though, in Washington because I think that...
I don't.
No?
I think he's gone.
Well, I think it's a good look for him.
They're trying to get... Yeah. So what I'm seeing is that they want the number... They want to get into the top 3.
Yeah.
So they're not going to trade with Portland. But here's the thing that could happen is maybe there's like a 3-team trade where the Wizards get the 3rd overall pick. Maybe Bradley Beal goes to another team like Miami. And then, I don't know. I don't know how that works. But they do want to trade that Bradley Beal to get the 3 overall pick or the 2 overall pick, which I think Charlotte could be interesting, like as a 3-team trade as well.
I'll say a good 2 to 3.
Okay.
2 to 3 possibly. Is my audio good?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Oh, you're great. Yeah, we got you, man.
Yeah, no. Charlotte has shown no indications that they're locked in on Scoot. I think the only thing Scoot has done, to maybe implicate where he maybe wants to play is where LaMelo's super bright Puma shoes, the guys are signed to the same deal. But, Brandon Miller is probably going to go number 3. And I'm looking at teams like Indiana, teams maybe like Orlando. A lot of teams that even made the playoffs, have not the most money in cap space, not the most room. And, the beautiful thing about the draft is that it's before free agency. And, there's going to be so many storylines like today about guys maybe wanting asking out like Bradley Beal or other implications of maybe somebody wanting to have a new venture. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of trades come draft night. But top 5, expect at least a couple.
Well, I think they had to have a meeting of the minds yesterday, and Sean McDermott talked to the media after practice today and gave the team's view that Diggs reported on Monday for his physical, which means he couldn't be fined. It doesn't matter if he practices. And I think one thing McDermott said that was interesting is they had communication yesterday. Everybody needed a little space. Diggs was excused from practice. To me, that means that wasn't a hugs and high fives conversation. That's what's been building up since the Cincinnati loss because Diggs hadn't been in town, and I'm sure everybody was okay to be honest. And my guess is that Diggs has a bigger problem with the play calling than he does the quarterback because he should have no problem with the quarterback.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that actually, just Ken Dorsey as a play caller, because it seemed like early downs, the Bills last year, like that was my knock on them early in the season when they were getting all the hype, was they were terrible on early downs. It was just Josh Allen really literally becoming Superman on 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and long situations. So I was going to ask you, do you think this is more the relationship with Ken Dorsey or Sean McDermott, or more the relationship with Josh Allen? First, Stephon Diggs.
For Diggs, if he's got a problem with Allen, then go play somewhere else because you're not going to get a lot of guys better. So, and here's the other thing. They did not have a second or third receiver option emerge that takes some of that attention away from Diggs. He has to understand that. Okay, is he upset with the team building? We'll see if he ever talks again. So, the second half of the season, this was after Josh Allen's ligament sprain in his elbow sustained in the Jet game, took away some of his firepower down the field. That's where Diggs makes a lot of his plays, okay? There's an excuse with the injuries. But the key thing is the scheme part. Does Diggs feel like he should be running routes that are not currently in the system? Well, there's probably better ways to converse about that, or maybe he thought he was conversing about that late last season and got nowhere, and so he sort of has acted out both with his not showing up for OTAs and then yesterday's deal, and also acting out in terms of giving his honest opinion behind the scenes.
Great question. I think it's got to be Jokic, MVP plus 500. You might get better numbers, though. You know how this thing goes. Like, it's back and forth. And the narrative is really what kept Jokic from getting the MVP last year, and Joel Embiid going on his campaign where he was just crying about not getting an MVP and saying how much he wanted it. And you had guys like Max Kellerman and Kendrick Perkins doing nasty, nasty work against Jokic and stumping for Embiid. Yeah, I actually think Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world right now, and the second best is probably not that close. Maybe that's like a hot take. But I think it'll be one of those scenarios where we see him improve yet again.
As much as I agree with you on Jokic, best player in the world right now, I would go Nuggets at plus 500 to repeat over Jokic because we know how this voting goes in the NBA.
Yeah.
Even if a player deserves to win MVP, it's you've gotten a couple, now we move on. We just saw it with Joel Embiid, and it's usually a short window where players are winning back-to-back or 2 out of the last 3 in a very small amount of time, and then it's the next guy's up, and the voters just keep on moving. It's a turntable. So even though Jokic may deserve it again next year, and maybe for the next 5 years, the Nuggets are probably a better chance, especially because the West is so wide open. I got question marks with every single team in the West. And hell, in the East, the NBA has a ton of parity. The Nuggets are set up for the potential to win plenty of championships over the next 5 or 6 years.
I'm going to agree with Nick. I would actually take the Nuggets to repeat. I just look at the West, man, and other than my Pelicans, I just don't know who overtakes them. And then in the East, is it the Bucks? Is it the Celtics? Nobody really scares me. The Nuggets, like, this could be a dynasty. They could win 3 of the next 4 of the next 5. Jokic, like you guys said, is probably the best player on the planet. I'm going to say probably because he's not going to be my MVP pick because next year, I don't know if you guys have seen Giannis in the lab right now. Looks like he gained somehow like another 8 pounds of muscle. He has like a shaved head right now. The aerodynamics are probably through the roof. And I think he's going to be the MVP. Or Luka's going to be the MVP because he's skinny as well. Or
Ben Simmons.
Daddy Zion will be the MVP of the league. He's a father. He has a new lease of life. I'm going to go with those 3 guys. So I go Nuggets.
Said more than enough of this already.
He's from South Carolina, so that actually might be close to home.
I don't think Zion gets moved. Do you really believe that Zion's going to be moved here?
I don't know. I don't think so, no.
He's 22. I just think, like, the ceiling, it's too much to give up.
I do think he's a year away from getting moved. If he's in... The reason that I think there's a possibility is because if you look at I don't mean to bring it back to Brad Beal, but there's a real cost to waiting. There's a real cost to making decisions when you and everyone else know what that player's upside and downside is. At this point, it's still murky. It's still unclear whether Zion could be a superstar or not. He's an all-star when healthy, but particularly isn't very healthy that often. But you could probably finesse another team into saying, well, maybe your development staff could get him to be trained up. Maybe a change of scenery would make sense. Maybe he doesn't really want to be in New Orleans and he's eating his way out of the league. But if you wait another year and he doesn't play more than 25 games again, what are you getting from him? What are you getting for him in a trade? Nothing. He's going to be valueless, and he makes a gajillion dollars. So I don't know what you do.
Trysta.
Oh, man.
Right on splitting hhairs. 41-25 Texas or 42-25 Baltimore.
That's such a good one. I think I'm going to have to go Orioles just because it's more fun. I think the Orioles are a more sustainable team. 6.5 runs per game for the Texas Rangers feels a bit unsustainable. The way the Orioles have been winning games feels like something that you can rely on a little bit more. We saw Marcus Semien last year go through many, many slumps. He's been hot as fish grease this year. Is he going to continue that? You've got Jacob deGrom obviously going down for the rest of the year. How does that injury impact things? Yeah, I think it would have to be the Orioles for me.
Yeah, I actually agree with you there. I mean, both divisions scare me, obviously, because you have Baltimore. I mean, they're going to have to see it. Boston's not even a bad team. I think the Yankees, if they could get Aaron Judge back, are going to be hot. I don't think Tampa Bay is going anywhere. But, man, you look in the West, and, like, this is kind of what we see every year. The Astros have the World Series hangover this year, but they're going to get right. They're only 3.5 games back right now. That lineup wasn't doing anything to start the season, but they didn't have Altuve. They'll be fine, and I love their rotation. The Angels are 7 games above 500, and then this is exactly what the Mariners did last year. They're 8 games back. They're only at 500 right now, but I could see them making a run. And then the rest of the schedule is even tough for the Rangers. DeGrom's out for the rest of the year with Tommy John surgery. I do like the lineup quite a bit, but I would probably go with Baltimore, actually. I don't think they're going anywhere. I really like this lineup, and the pitching's been much better than expected.
Nick,
the last
where are
2
you
years.
at?
And you know what? I think I'm going to make it a clean sweep and go Baltimore, too, because I think Trysta said something that's right. Like, the way they win is more sustainable. That run differential for the Rangers right now, plus 142. I mean, that's – the Orioles – here's the thing about the Orioles, too. They're a young team that doesn't have a lot of pressure on them. And sometimes it's just that, hey, we don't have high expectations. We just want to go out and win. You enjoy it. Nobody's out there even playing for a big contract, so it's not about them at all because they're all kind of stuck in that 10 years it takes for a guy to get a big deal in baseball. It just feels like this Orioles team has something that we've been waiting for the groundswell to come all the way, and now here we are.
Yeah. Hot take that I would take Justin Herbert over Josh Allen.
No, I don't think that's a hot
Not
take.
anymore. That would have been maybe a year ago.
Yeah.
But now they've Josh Allen is kind of descending a little bit. He did play hurt at the end of last year too. He had injuries. He was not his best even at the end of the regular season.
Yeah.
But we've seen Justin Herbert continue to ascend.
Yeah.
But that's got it. Like that trajectory has to continue. And this is a big year, right? And I know you like them, right? I know you like the Chargers to win the AFC West, plus 325.
Yeah.
I mean, Kansas City sitting there, of course, they're the favorite. They're minus 160.
They're favorite in every game this year.
They're favorite in every game this year,
Yeah.
and it's probably going to stay that way unless something happens and someone gets hurt. Like, we know how this goes. But this is a Chargers team now that has gone from, oh, they're a fun little scrappy team to, okay, now they need to make the playoffs. Okay, now they need to start like winning games. They need to start winning big games like that during the regular season. Like the expectations continue to climb. Look, I understand why you like that.
Yeah.
And I can't see them getting past Kansas City in that division.
Yeah.